So I'm one of the co-founders of AdYogi, and over the last 7-8 years, I personally interacted with more than 100 plus founders in the D2C space. I've seen the evolution of D2C from 2015 to 2023. Of course, the entire industry has gone through its own journey of maturing. And in the entire journey, I've also realized what are the key levers which any D2C brand can actually pull to scale. So as part of the Merchant Accelerator program, one of my first discussions earlier this year was around how to leverage events to scale. And then we discussed in the last session how to use discovery to scale a brand profitably. Discovery is a part of Google Ads ecosystem. Today, I'll be talking something related to the event stock, but more specific to an event which is Rakshbandhan, which is 30th of August or 31st of August this year. But whatever we discussed today on Rakshbandhan can actually be applicable for a lot more festivals coming in the next 1 or 2 months. It could be Onam, it could be Janmashtami, or it could be Ganesh Chaturthi, and of course, a lot more festivals. So while I'll probably speak about Rakhi at least 20-30 times in my next 10 minutes, just take it with this a layer of generalization on top of it, that everything which we talk about Rakhi in some shape and form can be applicable to some of the other festivals in India. Right? So here is some takeaway which we can take out of this session towards the end. Why are events important? This is, I think, a very important takeaway for today's discussion, in my opinion, because we have seen that in order to scale a D2C brand today, events become one of the biggest lever to scale, and scaling business as usual typically becomes difficult because efficiency always comes under a lot of pressure, which is ROS on Facebook, ROS on Google. I'll share some insights on how to plan an event correctly, what are the timelines, when to start the planning, when to start executing, how to end an event, maybe a little bit about I'll share an e-commerce events calendar towards the end as well. And of course, happy to take any questions coming out of this entire session. Now, just a small, I think, sort of a quiz for all of us, very similar to what I had last time also, that compared to business as usual, how much revenue do you think a brand can generate for an event like Rakhi? So let's say, for example, if you were doing like a lakh a day on a regular day, how much can we do on a business as on a Rakhi day? Maybe if some of you can just put it on the comment section, I think it could become like a good benchmarking exercise to start with. Right? So A means if you're doing business as usual, 1 lakh, you probably do 1 lakh to 3 lakh on a Rakhi day. 3 lakh to 5 lakh is B. 5 lakh to 7 lakh is C. And of course, D could be if you have never run a sale or sort of never really tried it out. So I can see a good number of Bs coming, some As and some Cs. So I would say B itself is great. So if you're doing a lakh a day and you're able to scale it to 3 lakh a day on a Rakhi event or 5 lakh a day on a Rakhi event, I think it's very well executed. Pat on the back for the team and the founder. But the gold standard we have seen is actually C, which is 5 lakh to 7 lakh, right? Which is 5x to 7x of your BAU. And I think the key discussion point today is how do we get to that gold standard, right? And just a word of caution there that maybe in the first time you try it out, you may not get to C, you may not be able to get to a 5x to 7x. But I have seen that when brands practice it over a period of time, which means they do it maybe over a Rakshbandhan and probably pick up one more event like a Black Friday and do it 2-3 times, the entire team actually gets accustomed to that kind of an event. So generally it takes a few iterations before you get to the gold standard, but good to have that benchmark for everybody. A few pointers which I wanted to call out. So Rakshbandhan is big in India. We have seen brands on an average scale around 30 to 40% on back of Rakshbandhan event, which means if they are doing probably 50 lakhs in a month, like a month of May or June, they were able to scale up to 65 to 70 lakhs in the month of July or August based on their Rakshbandhan event. One key point which I have observed over the last few years is while a lot of commerce happens during Diwali, no doubt about it, Diwali is the biggest festival in India. Diwali tends to get very crowded. I know we all are aware of this Big Billion Sale and the Great India Festival, and CPM rates usually become very high on Meta and Google during this period. So Diwali does tend to get very crowded. Also, this year we have World Cup also in the month of October, November. So when I'm interacting with brands, usually I tell them, look, whatever scale up you have, let's do it in the month of July, August. Let's not bank on Diwali alone to meet our annual targets, because Diwali will get more crowded. So more commerce happens, but how much of that more commerce can a brand actually capitalize on becomes a challenge, because there is too much distraction for the end customer. And this is a screenshot which I actually borrowed from a Google deck, which we just got a couple of days ago. So this shows year on year actually trend of searches of Rakhi related keywords. As you can see on the screen, we see a spike in July 19, we saw a spike in July 20, July 21, July 22, and every year the spike only is getting bigger and bigger, which means the number of people who are actually taking Rakhi seriously or gifting their siblings during Rakhi is only going up every year. And last year, this number, which Google has pegged, is 27 million searches happening during the Rakshbandhan event. Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh were the states which had the highest searches. And it has become a great gifting opportunity in India. And some of the categories which benefit from Rakhi are jewelry category, beauty and personal care category, chocolates, wearable tech, and also fashion in general, right? Because we have usually seen that while gifting is a use case, people also tend to buy for themselves during festives. So almost all categories, I would say, do benefit from Rakhi as an event. Very similar to my previous point. So this is the actual data of CPM plotted for a couple of our clients. You can see that the CPM rate in October actually skyrocketed. 450 was the average CPM for this brand. And on a usual month, which is September, August, or even July for that matter, the CPM was not more than 300, right? So a clear spike of 50% increment in CPM during the Diwali month. So unless your conversion rates are higher by 30 to 40%, which can happen in the month of Diwali, but if that doesn't happen for your category or your brand, there is a possibility that you may actually experience declining profitability in Diwali, purely because your cost has gone up so much and your revenue has probably not gone up proportionately. And just the World Cup point, which I spoke about as well. Here, just a sample of few brands which have leveraged micro events really well. We have seen True Browns do that very, very well. They have this flash sale and a Rakshbandhan sale. Malmal does that really well. They launched their own collection during Diwali. Rare Rabbit also takes leverage of micro events. So if you're a D2C brand today, micro event should be one of the top things on your mind. And like I said, 5x to 7x is the gold standard. Right? So all that for context setting. Let me just get into the core of the content. So how do you run a successful Rakhi event? And for that matter, an Onam or a Janmashtami or a Ganesh Chaturthi. So 3 stages. One is, of course, preparing and planning. Second is execution during the event. And third is what do you do with the event? Small call out that the plan. We've recommended 15 July to 25th July. I would say that even first week of July is not a bad time to plan it, because like we saw, the spike in the searches actually happen in the month of July, because people want to start searching ahead of time so that they can plan the gifting or the purchases ahead of time. So what do you do for preparing? 4 things I'll speak about today. Number 1 is, as a brand, we need to decide what kind of event you are planning for Diwali, right? Now, I know when I say what kind of event, the first reaction for everybody is sale event, right? What do you do beyond a sale event? In India, almost every event is a sale event. But we have seen brands very successfully doing a new launch in Diwali without even, let's say, 10% discounting. And this is Shop Malmal, an example which I often give. They don't do any discounting in Diwali. They only do a new launch event in Diwali, new collection launch, and that works very well for them, right? We have seen brands like Fizzy Goblet just doing a gifting offer, which means that if you purchase anything during that 10-15 day period, you get a free gift. And the free gift could be anything. In some cases, it could be one of your products which you can give free. It could also be something related to Rakhi which you can give free, could be a free Rakhi or a free Rakhi combo, right? So event does not necessarily mean sale and discounting. I do agree that 70-80% of the events we do come across are sale and discounting, but I would still urge all the brands here to be more innovative and creative and see what kind of event works for you. Depending on the event type, of course, the duration can change. A sale event can run for 7 days. A new collection launch can go on for 14 days. A gifting offer can probably go on for even a month, for that matter. So depending on the event, I think the strategy can be different. This is once you decide an event, it's very important to start creating that pre-buzz activity for the event. And what I mean by pre-buzz is do some mid-funnel campaigns. We typically recommend Discovery and YouTube as one of the best channels for running mid-funnel campaigns. Like I discussed last time, Discovery is when you're scrolling on your YouTube, you see those nice carousel and newsfeed ads, which are Discovery ads. They are ideal for doing mid-funnel campaigns. So start running these campaigns maybe 5 days before your sale event, maybe even 10 days before your sale event. And you can divert people on your sale collection, on your separate category page, which you have created. You could also exclude all your customers and website audience from these events, from these ads, which will make sure that you're driving a lot of new people to your website. And that is super, super important. You want more and more new people to come to your website ahead of your event, because the event can become an excuse for you to acquire new customers, which you would have probably never acquired in the history of the brand. So important to exclude your existing customers, maybe even your website traffic. I think this is something which is often covered in many of the other MAP sessions also, but prepare your Shopify store for MAP, for Rakhi, which means you can have a different banner on the website. You could have it sort of a small banner at the top talking about your Rakhi event. Some cases we have seen that because sales go up very rapidly during the Rakhi or any event, there is a chance your RTO might go up. So we have seen brands giving an extra discount on prepaid orders, which also works quite well because your share of prepaid orders go up. Countdown on the website can work quite well. Slashed pricing is what we usually see work well. Of course, coupon codes can also be run. But what we have seen is unless your discounting is honest, which means it's on top of your business as usual, the impact is not there. We have seen some brands who are always on 30% off, and then during Rakshbandhan, they might promote 30% off, which means it's the same as BAU, but they are not able to see the kind of impact which a separate, different brand would be able to get. Because customers are smart, we have seen. They figure out whether it's an honest discounting or whether it's just a rebranding of the existing discount. So prepare your Shopify store accordingly. Sale preview is very few brands we have seen it actually leverage the power of a sale preview. What we effectively mean is whatever you have planned during the sale event, you can actually roll out something similar to that to your existing customers, maybe 1 day, 2 day, 3 day before the event. And this is, we have seen it work very well for Shop Malmal. They do it at least 3-4 days prior to the actual sale event. What it also helps is it makes your customers feel special. They get something which is very personalized to them. You can reach out to them on any of the CRM channels like WhatsApp, email, SMS. You can redirect them to your product page URLs if they want to make a purchase. Some of these products may or may not be visible on your website because this is a preview collection. And if you think about it, marketplaces do that all the time. I'm sure many of you would have seen Amazon do a Prime member sale 12 hours prior to their regular sale. So think how you can create this preview prior to the main sale event among your customer base. So few of the things which can be done prior to the event. Now, let's imagine if you have an event planned in the last week of July and the first, second week of July, what do you do during the event are these 3 or 4 things, right? So number one, sort of vanilla advice, but do set up additional campaigns for your event. This is very important. In some cases, we have seen brands trying to tinker with the existing BAU campaigns. Not the best strategy because you want your BAU campaigns to keep giving you some results. Dedicated campaign focused on Rakhi or any of the event will work, make sense. Focus on specific states within the country. If the event is specific, like Rakhi, you can focus on UP, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Maharashtra. These could be some states you may want to focus on. A good idea here could be you can run some of these campaigns on lifetime budget on Meta instead of a daily budget. We have usually seen that lifetime budget campaigns complete their learning faster than a daily budget campaign. So this could help you complete your learning maybe in half a day and then focus on rest of the event in scaling up your Meta campaigns. Second, which is most important during the event, make it a point to refresh your audiences. This is very, very important because you have been running those campaigns business as usual throughout the year. You want to make sure that during festive, you reach out to newer set of people. So it could mean that you can add some custom intent audiences. Google has this very nice feature where you can say Rakhi or Rakhi related keywords as custom intent. So anybody who has searched like Rakhi gift on google.com can be shown ad on YouTube and Discovery. So do make the most of your festive related keywords as custom intent audiences. We've also seen adding new interests on Meta, like discount hunters or people who frequently shop online during festives. There are some of these interests on Meta which can be added. We have seen brands piloting with showing brand Rakhi related content to opposite gender. So if you are a woman fashion, you might want to run a small campaign targeting men. Or if you have traditionally targeted men, you might want to run a small campaign targeting women. We have seen some of these campaigns give incredible ROAS because men would otherwise not have seen any creative content from that brand. So they're more likely to respond to those creatives. So during festive, this sort of a strategy also works quite well. But I think broad point here is refresh your audiences. Like we spoke about earlier, that 27 million searches happened on Rakhi related keywords on Google. The question for us would be, how do we capitalize on those 27 million searches, right? And one small suggestion here, which we have seen brands do very well, is let's say, for example, you have a regular festive combo, or let's imagine, take example of Forest Essential. They may have a gift pack on their website running throughout the year. During some of those festives, you can think about repackaging that gift pack. You might call it as Rakhi gift pack and put it up as a new SKU on your website, or you might want to change your existing SKU to Rakhi gift pack. And you would be amazed to know that a lot of Rakhi searches happening on Google, your Rakhi gift pack might actually start coming up on the top. This is one of the very good hacks we have seen brand use. So if there are products on your catalog which can be repositioned as let's say Rakhi, or even for that matter Ganesh Chaturthi products, then you can do that. And in some cases we have seen brands use title optimization very well, where you can pick up the regular titles of your products and add festive related keywords to titles or descriptions, and their products start appearing when a festive specific search happens. So very good strategy for brands. Depending on the category you are selling, this could actually be a game changer for scaling during festive season. Sort of a trivial point, but do increase your budgets rapidly during the festive time. Because if you want to target that 7x increase in sales, which means going from 1 lakh to 7 lakh revenue, it definitely won't happen keeping the budget same. Because your ROS is not going to go 7x, right? If your ROS was 3x, it may become 4x, right? Which means if you want to get 7 lakh, you may still want to put in a budget of, let's say, 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh every day. So your budgets have to be proportionately scaled up to make use of the opportunity. Of course, you will get better efficiencies. So it does not mean that you have to increase your budget by exactly the same proportion as the scale. How do you scale up budgets rapidly? Some best practices use hourly rules on Facebook, which means every 2-3 hours, if your campaign is performing very well, increase the budget. On Google, you can change from your target ROS strategy to maximize conversion strategy, especially for your PMAX campaign, it can be tried. Brand search, typically goes up during this period. So you may want to increase your budget of your brand search campaigns. So just be more, I think, more regularly following the campaigns and pushing ourselves in the team to increase the budget wherever the performance is good is actually all that is needed. So it's more of a discipline and governance than actually a marketing strategy, to be honest. Remarket all website, offline, social media audience. Again, a slide very similar to what we spoke about a few months ago. But don't forget your existing customers. Don't forget those cart abandoned people. Don't forget people who have engaged with you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So all these audiences can be put together in your campaigns, and you can run ads on top of them to inform them about the new collection, inform them about the discounting. But CRM marketing itself can be a very powerful tool to scale during events. We have seen brands get as much as 50% of that entire revenue purely from their CRM marketing activities, which means if you're talking about getting 7 lakh on your website revenue, maybe 3.5 lakh can actually come from your existing customers alone using CRM activity. And customers need not be customers, it could be cart abandoned people also. So these were some of the practices to scale the event. Small, I think, next steps in terms of what do you do immediately after the event to make sure that you are able to not see that sudden decline in revenue. So there will be a decline, of course, once the event ends, but a few things which can be done, more like, I would say, best practices again. So you can make sure that if the sale is performing really well in the last day, you might want to extend it by half a day or a day. If you do that, then make sure that your communication talks about it. Last 1 day of sale, last 12 hours of sale. We have seen that it helps you sort of take the maximum juice out of your sale. A good hack we have seen is immediately after sale, you might want to exclude the customers who have purchased in the last 7 days, or even people who have added products to cart in the last 7 days, because somebody who just purchased 2 days ago on a discount may not want to purchase once the discount is not there. And somebody who added a product to cart and didn't make a purchase during the sale, most likely he or she will not make a purchase without the sale also. So small hack, it does help you get better efficiency, because Facebook starts optimizing now between those people who have not exposed to your sale communication. Churn the ad sets again. Get new overlays into your creatives. So maybe you are talking about a Rakhi overlay. Now suddenly you talk about a new arrival overlay, or you talk about some other communication in your ad copies. We have seen brands launching new collection immediately after the sale ends. This is something which you do during end of season also, but we have seen people do that immediately after Rakshbandhan also. And sometimes, and in fact, it works very well, because suddenly after your sale event, you have something new to talk about. So focus a little bit on what will you do immediately after sale also, while you are making the sale planning, because otherwise immediately when the sale ends, then it's a little bit of a panic. What do we do now? Our sales have suddenly gone down from, let's say, 7 lakh to 1 lakh again. So have some sort of a plan in place immediately after sale also. So just a few quick snapshot of how events look like. So we have Friendship Day, Independence Day, Onam, Rakshbandhan, Labor Day, Janmashtami, Ganesh Chaturthi, all of them coming in August and September, for which we would highly recommend planning has to start in the month of July. While October and November does look very good in terms of the festive lineup also, like I said, these are crazy months. We have seen brands go both ways. Some of them do end up growing a lot, but many of them do struggle to grow as well. So make the most of August and September by planning in July. A summary of what we spoke about today: prepare for the sale, scale during the event, post-event, do plan it in advance. Of course, this will be available as part of the Shopify repository as well. So before we go to the Q&A, I think very quick thing, we have a freemium tool for all the D2C brands. So you can log into AdYogi, log in on our premium tool. A lot of analytics are available in the tool if you connect your Facebook and Google ad account. 30 seconds about what AdYogi does. We are a marketing automation platform. We work with 300 plus e-commerce brands, primarily on Shopify, but other platforms as well. connect the entire brand to the AdYogi panel. We have a lot of analytics baked into the panel, and very single-click creation across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube discovery. We have API integrations with all these platforms. A lot of predefined targeting options, which we have seen typically work well with the e-commerce brands, and funnel analytics, which can help you identify where people are dropping off. So sort of that brings me to the end of my talk. Open to questions. Over to you, Jagan.
Thank you very much, Anshuk. As always, like it was very wonderful and very insightful. Right. So I'll let people ask you questions. Folks, do you have any queries, questions, clarifications that, or also get any tips from Anshuk? Hey, Vanessa, go ahead.
Hey, hi Anshuk.
Hi, Vanessa.
So just had a question regarding communication that we have in the creatives that we put out for the ads, right? So if normally also price is something that we communicate in ads, like either a discount or a combo or something along those lines. Basis your experience, do you have any advice in terms of what is and over and above that communication that would really kind of trigger people to who are kind of on the fence to be able to come and finish their or complete their purchase?
Absolutely. Number one, I think I would say it becomes a good opportunity to contextualize the communication. So we may be giving, let's say, 10-20% off on a regular business as usual day to new customers. So if we, let's say, for example, during Rakshbandhan, we are planning an incremental discount. Maybe it's not 10, maybe it's 20, or it's not 20, it's 30. So it's important to link that communication to Rakshbandhan event and create an urgency around it. So people should strongly believe that, look, they are getting this incremental discount purely because of this event. And once the event is over, they may not get this discount. That's when most people are more likely to come and purchase. And mostly the fence sitters who are just on the brink, really thinking whether they should make a purchase or not. And urgency sort of a communication helps them really take that big step. So focus a lot on linking it to the event. It can be done by saying a gift along because of the event, a discount because of the event, a new collection because of the event. In some cases, we have seen vibrant colors because of the event. So a lot of brands do that during Holi, where they say we have an exciting range of new colors because of Holi. We have seen a brand do that where they curated red dresses within their collection, and they sort of ran an ad saying, for the Valentine Day, this is a specific collection which we have curated for you. So it need not always be a new product launch. It could also be sort of a new collection which is curated from the entire catalog. But whatever it's done, it has to be linked to the event. I hope that answers.
Got it. Thank you.
Any more questions, folks? Looks like Anshuk, people have learned a lot, right? And especially over the days and over this particular year, right? So probably like, okay. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hi, Anshuk. I just had a question. So once the sale event is over, like you talked about scaling up the budget. So do you scale down the budgets, and how do you do that post sale event?
Yes, absolutely. So Anirudh, definitely the budgets have to be scaled down. So if our business as usual budget was, let's say, 30,000, and we were probably spending 1 lakh during the sale events, a good practice is to bring it down to maybe 30 or maybe 10% higher than the BAU budgets. Two ways it can be done. Number one, if there was a separate sale campaign or a Rakhi campaign, and once the event is over, that campaign can be switched off. Second is, if we had scaled up our existing BAU campaigns very rapidly, then we can apply some rules on top of it to scale down the budget. So this can be done on the Facebook dashboard also, where we say every 4 hours, if the campaign is not giving a 4x ROS, reduce budget by, let's say, 10-20%. Of course, ROS will come down. So when the ROS comes down and we have rules in place, the budget will scale down automatically. So a rapid scale down has to be done over, like, say, half a day to 1 day period. In an event where the ROS is not impacted, then of course keep enjoying that sale numbers, but that usually doesn't happen.
Sure. Thank you, Anshuk. Yeah.
Thanks, Anirudh.
All right. We are on time as well. Thank you very much, Anshuk, once again for the wonderful presentation. And folks, if you have any questions, we have the AdYogi team here as well. So please feel free to drop them and text in the chat box. Thank you, Anshuk.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.